Welcome back, and let's do something different today. Let's not talk about knives. Let's talk about laptop. It's a Thinkpad X1 Carbon Extreme third generation, and the reason why I want to talk about this laptop and the knives is because of carbon. As you see, I have a few knives here from my collection which do have a carbon on them, or they have a carbon as a part of construction of those knives. And this laptop has a carbon as well on the frame. So let's quickly talk about this specific element. It's not gonna be a laptop heavy review. It's we'll talk about carbon, but towards the end, if you found this video just through the search on YouTube and you want to know my personal feedback on the laptop, I got it, I think, less than a month ago. It's relatively new release, and I'll talk about it because I'm a fan of ThinkPads and Thinkpad Carbon line. I have a few. I'll compare it to the other laptops as well. So first of all, why carbon and why ThinkPad Carbon? The reason is that in reality, those laptops, they were called ThinkPad Carbon for many years, since they introduced the first model to the market. And I think it happened like 2012. Lenovo introduced ThinkPad Carbon X1 or X1 Carbon. This is the first generation of that laptop. They say X1 Carbon. I got it because I liked ThinkPads. I did a lot of travels, and I got it for a reasonable amount of money. Great laptop, one of the best I've ever had, and I'll talk about it maybe later in the video. But as you can see, there's no carbon in here. So what they say, in fact, it's not made out of carbon. It has carbon magnesium composite in the frame, in the construction of material, and in the lid, but it does not have an exposed carbon anywhere, and did not have. Few years later, I think around maybe 3 or 4 years ago, starting with generation 4 or 5, this is the X1 Carbon, also 14-inch. They introduced carbon lid for some models of ThinkPads, and I still didn't get it. I looked at this one at the Mobile World Congress. I was there the first year when they introduced it. Maybe they introduced it a little bit earlier at CES. And it did look good. It did catch my attention, but the problem is that, at least for me, I liked a Full HD resolution on those screens. I don't think that 4K resolution is good on 14-inch screen. I could get this one with 3K, not 4K, 3K screen and carbon fiber. I did not get it on the regular X1 Carbon about 3 years ago, I think. Finally, like last month, I got this one. It's a 15.6-inch model. It's a little bit bigger and heavier, significantly actually bigger and heavier than my favorite 14-inch type of X1 Carbon. But I did get it, finally I did get it with carbon fiber lid and 4K screen. So let's take a look at this thing and compare it to the knives. So you see that it's not like a fully constructed out of carbon fiber. So you see there's like a black frame of that composite material in here, right? Then this frame actually goes towards you over the hinge, and then the frame continues. in here. And there's no other carbon fiber materials, or at least exposed carbon fiber materials visible. It's a regular X1 Extreme, that's what it says here on the laptop itself. So what it is, and actually let's compare to the knife. You see how the knife with the carbon fiber inlay is constructed. So also you have a frame, and you have this pretty much just an inlay, like a cutout in the aluminum frame in this case, and a little insert for of the carbon fiber just for the looks. At this specific knife, at this knife, similar thing. You have aluminum frame or aluminum handle, and you have carbon fiber inlay. Great. In this knife, you have titanium frame, and you have a carbon fiber scales, pretty much. They just contoured to be like a little bit rounded up, but they actually don't bear any weight. They are not a part of a frame. It's just the way it's constructed for the lightness and for the looks. I actually do like how this carbon fiber looks like, and it's light and nice to the touch. It's not super grippy, but it's not too sleek. Like in this one, it is just a sleek one. No, and it's even reflective one. So sometimes knife manufacturers, they use carbon and they make like a scale, not a scale, it's more like a frame out of that, but usually only one side. They rarely do both sides of the carbon frame. It can be, as I said, overlay or scales or inserts on both sides, but the carbon frame is a rare thing. It's very light, but it's not that tough to hold like a side impacts or side like turning things and so on. It's not that good in my understanding. Or just maybe like inlay, like in here you see all of those layers. You see this insert of the carbon fiber also looks really nice. Helps to reduce the weight. Yeah, it's very light, but really it's not the frame. Where the frame of carbon is really used, we all may know it in some other places. So for example, in the bikes, road bikes, mountain bikes. I have one mountain bike with a carbon frame. It's really light, but here comes the difference. Why can't they make full carbon frame here? Why don't they make full carbon frame here? Because it's gotta be done pretty much by hand. It's got to be waved to that shape to be less fragile and to hold all kinds of tensions and heats and everything. And by the way, even carbon fiber frames on the bikes, they are done by hand for the different layers, fitted over some profile, over some template, and then they of course paint, let them dry, all of those layers, paint them over. But carbon fiber frames, they kind of stiff when you ride, but they are not tough enough to withstand all the heat. So for example, on a carbon bike frame, I fall down and fall in a rock, I get a hit towards the carbon fiber and it will break, it will start chipping, it will pretty much the whole frame or element of that frame, if it's maybe the fork, will be destroyed. Rather than in some softer metals, it is possible to fix them. For example, if it's steel, you can bend it back, you can weld it in a simple workshop. If it's aluminum, of course, you cannot do that as well, because aluminum requires way higher temperatures. But anyway, the carbon material is great, but it's difficult to work with. It's if it's something like this, just like inserts or scales, yes, you have just this element, and you put it in. If it's scales, you just make the scales, grind them to this shape and attach them to your knives. If it's just a very simple element of construction, for example, this knife, it's not a heavy-duty knife. If it breaks, it breaks. Okay, it means I did something wrong, not the knife's fault. But for the laptop, I think what was the problem to introduce the carbon right away when they first introduced first generation of laptops, they just and again, it's not my thoughts, not my guess. I spoke with Thinkpad product managers, one of the product managers at that show when they were introduced, and asked like right away, why didn't you do carbon, not the frame, carbon construction, visible carbon construction from a first generation? And they said they just couldn't technically do it well because again, getting back to the construction here, you see how it is fitted to the actual black frame, the carbon towards the plastic or magnesium, whatever it is. It's not fitted, it's integrated. It's not the inlay like in here. It is real integrated carbon panel into the frame, which actually provides all of this carbon stiffness to the lid. If it's just gonna be inlay, it wouldn't be that strong. And as well as if it would be just an inlay, it means that you would have to have a frame in the lid and then inlay on top of that, which would just increase the thickness, the weight, and so on. So my understanding, and again, that's what we discussed with one of the product managers from Lenovo, is that they had to find a manufacturer who would be able to do this really good job of integrating the carbon fiber weave into the lid seamlessly. There's no seams, there's no gaps, and it will not appear. Vice versa, they have cut out for the Thinkpad plastic logo in here, and X1 is on top of that. It's just painted over. This is the, I think it's a light integrated into eye here, and I like it a lot. So I finally bought myself a 4K screen with the carbon fiber weave. So now it's true X1 carbon with the carbon fiber laptop, and I like it. It's pretty good. So, and by the way, if you don't know why it's called carbon fiber weave, this is another example of carbon fiber. It's a carbon fiber, but it's not layered carbon fiber. It's just like a random carbon fiber reinforced nylon or plastic, what do you call it. It's pretty strong and very light. Carbon, really, yes, this is carbon too, but when we consumers think about carbon, we want that checkered pattern, we want that weave to be visible. That's why we like it. So I think that's about it, just for comparison of carbon fiber design elements into both knives and laptops. So I think I'm done with the knives, and let me talk a little bit more about the laptop itself, what I feel about it, and how it compares to my previous laptops. Because I think it will be interesting for many of you guys. It's a relatively new model of X1 Extreme line. Back in the days when they first introduced first generation, again, I've seen it, I like the idea. I'm okay with, let's put it this way, no, I was not okay back in the days to switch from 14-inch, super thin, super light, travel friendly, work friendly. Again, I don't need to do a lot of software development, mostly work with office applications, different web applications, presentations, and so on, multimedia. This laptop, from performance point of view, is good enough. It's 14-inch, very light, good screen. Yeah, I did have a first generation, I did have a 5th generation X1 Carbon. I liked it, and so finally I'm less traveling, you know what times are now, and I decided, okay, I'm working from home. I like the concept of like one laptop with everything on it, all my data, all my stuff on this laptop, my work data, my personal data, all together, not together, mixed in. Of course, they're separated, but I like this concept, and this laptop did fit quite well. Now I'm traveling less. I was okay to increase the size of a laptop a little bit, and of course it's not a little bit, it's a little bit more. It's, you see how much is the difference between 14-inch X1 and 15.6-inch X1 Extreme, but I'm fine. I like it. So I got the 4K screen. I got the see how big the screen is, and then let's compare the screen from this laptop and a screen from 14-inch. You see the difference is significant. Yep, and you see when I'm filming it, it's a nice day outside actually. So yeah, it's pretty good. If you're looking for really like a review of this laptop, I can give you one. So what we're having good screen, we're having relatively small bezels here, we're having microphone array. I think it's 2 or 3 microphones. We have a webcam here on the top with the infrared camera as well, and we have a shutter to turn the privacy mode on or off if you need it. Again, 4K screen here, super bright in this generation. Another reason why I got it, it's true 4K screen, not 3K, not UHD. Really bright, super high brightness. It's not touchscreen. I don't like touchscreens. I don't need them. On the bottom, of course, it's more powerful. The main difference is that it's not only larger in size, it's more powerful from CPU point of view. I got this one with the i7 processor, and it also has discrete NVIDIA graphics in there. That's why you kind of see 2 dedicated fans in here for internal cooling system. One for CPU, my understanding, another one is for GPU. This is the what's the right word for this? This is where the air goes in through this mesh, and you see this white kind of areas. That's where all the dust started to collect, even within like a 1 month of operations. And to keep this area clean, so for example, if you work towards your labs or I don't know, some softer surface, they introduced, even on a harder surface, they have this like a big rubber stand, not just small tiny feet like here. So there's always like a gap between the surface and between the laptop, so the air can get in from the sides and into the cooling system, and then it goes out actually through those holes in between the frame and the hinge for the lid. And by the way, if you see this, that's just a cover of this hinge. My understanding why you have this area without a carbon on this side is because the actual hinge, either it's metal or again this composite material, it gets into the lid here, and then this carbon fiber, a little bit of that carbon fiber insert. Again, I think it's still an insert, but it's integrated on the side. They wanted to have that other material to go as high as possible this way towards us, and so it will be as tough kind of hinge as possible for this specific lid. What else is good here? What else at least is new for me? Placement of the speakers is a little bit different. They used to be up in the front, usually in most of the ThinkPads. Like for example in here, you see the speakers are in the front, and here they are on the sides. They okay. I use a lot of conference calls, sometimes watch some movies, or I don't know, some videos, YouTube on that. Nice speakers. Don't listen to music too much, but that's fine. Nothing in the front, no special gaps for opening. On the sides, you've probably seen a lot of pictures already what's on the sides. Charging port to yeah, I had to go back to this big charging port. Two USB-Cs, HDMI, the 3.5mm combo jack for your microphone and headphones. I have here SD card, which I didn't have on the smaller carbons, which I was missing from the first generation. On the first generation I had one, two USB 3.0 ports. One of them is charging. That's standard for ThinkPads, and of course the Kensington lock. There's nothing at the back, no micro SD or SIM card. I did not get any whatever 3G 4G modem in there, so I don't know, maybe there's an internal slot for SIM card. Inside, usually I'm kind of used to new, quote-unquote, new keypads of ThinkPads already. It is low profile track point, which I'm using a lot. I'm only using either track point or external mouse. I don't use trackpad. Don't like it. So I'm like, don't talk about trackpad for me. Why it's switched off? Because I don't use it. And your power buttons here, and your fingerprint reader is here, which I do not like. It works even worse than this one. This one at least had some indicator on it if I'm good or not. This one doesn't, and just software gives me all kinds of errors, can't recognize the fingerprint reader. So no, I don't like it. What I forgot to say, yep, there's an indicator for the power in here, if it's attached or not. And I think that's, I mean, from the first impressions point of view, yep, everything is okay and so on. But again, as I said, what's the difference and what you're gonna get with this laptop comparing to the previous generations? So I can't say much about previous generations of ThinkPad Extreme, but comparing to let's say if you're kind of on the same journey, switching from a light laptop to a little bit larger and more powerful, because you kind of stay and travel less, like myself. What I did not like, and of course didn't like, new fingerprint reader. I didn't like that I have only one side of USB ports. I think both, if you have one here, one there, it's way more convenient. And I did not like switching the audio jack from right side to the left side, because if you take any, like let's say almost any wired headset with a microphone, so for example I use it all the time for conference calls, so let's say this one, is from Samsung Galaxy phone. Your microphone, your controls, if they work for volume, or sometimes there are controls with the buttons, so you control start stop of some multimedia functions from here. They are on the right side, they for the right ear. So for me it's kind of easier to have quick, not quick, like a short or less annoying wire from this side of the laptop to my right ear, rather than the one which I have to across. So in this case, I have to run it across, and I don't know how to run it, not over the keyboard, of course, either in front of me or behind the screen, and then coming out of this side, kind of into my ear. It's just annoyance from this point of view. And of course, the good performance comes with their own drawbacks. Less battery life, significantly less, but I knew that. It's not for real travels. It's just for maybe for some short travels, or which I will be doing. That's fine, not for the full day of work. It's heavier, it's bigger, it is using its internal cooling system. It runs the fan all the time. I can hear it with this. And this one is pretty much silent. This one is pretty much silent laptop. Only when it overheats, when you have a real load on this, it's gonna run the fan. This one runs it almost all the time. So I think that's it for the review. I'm not gonna do any tests, performance tests, and so on. You'll find it online if you need to. Just those details. No, sorry. Another very important thing for anybody who travels is the power. How do you charge it? So this one comes with 135 watt adapter. It's at least the slim one, because in the previous generation of powerful laptops, those power bricks were super big and heavy, and this one also has some kind of strange attachment for your 20 volt wire, but at least you can kind of wrap it around like this. It has those stops for the cable, so you can keep it wrapped around the power brick. And it also has this little notch for, I don't know, for touching it if you want it, like more like a for cable management thing. But as I said, you're gonna go back to your flat Lenovo style adapter with this power brick. So this laptop requires full power adapter for operation, especially if you want to run GPU. If you use 65 watts, yeah, this one's 65, USB-C adapter, and plug it into the USB-C port, it will charge, but most likely it will not let you run all the full power things. It will just say, oh, sorry, it's not enough, I cannot charge. It will start draining your battery, even with the power attached. And you will see the indicator here on the side saying you, yep, I'm charging, or things like that. But if you use low power USB-C blocks, so for example, this one is also Lenovo. Yeah, it is. Yep, it is Lenovo, but it is 45 watt USB-C adapter, which runs perfectly fine. I can charge and can work off this adapter on the previous generation, so not previous, on the 14-inch X1 Carbon. You see, this is a tiny thing and just has this USB-C port. You can plug anything you want, any type of cable in here, a longer, short one. Really good solution. I did use it for a while with smaller laptop. Unfortunately for this laptop, for X1 Extreme 3rd generation, it wouldn't even charge. It says, nope, sorry, cannot do that. So yeah, I used to have one charger when I was traveling for my laptop and for my phone. Now I have to have this big guy with me when I travel. But anyway, it's gonna be less suffering and more joy with good screen and better performance. Other than that, I think that's about it. And in terms of sizes, it actually fits into my existing bag, which was designed for 14-inch laptops, but it just barely fits, but it fits into that bag. So at least I don't have to buy myself a new bag. I have a nice, good leather bag for the laptops, which could swallow 14-inch, and it'll just disappear. This one, I can feel it in there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for I don't know, understanding this very strange type of review and comparison. So comparing laptops and knives is something I don't really remember anyone doing, at least for me. But they're just gonna put different carbon fiber things one top of another, just for the final view of this final screen of this video. And one more time, thanks for watching, and let me know what do you think of laptop, what do you think of carbon material in knives and so on. And let me think, not let me think, let me know what other non-typical comparisons which would be good to discuss from materials point of view, from technology's point of view, between different things which I already introduced to you. Knives, laptops, personal EDC type of items, everyday carry type of items, or something else. Where are those cross breed of technologies happening, which makes our life easy, interesting, more robust, more productive, or whatever it is? Those are all tools for us, right? So anyway, one more time, third or fourth time, thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think on all of those open questions and so on. Bye.